up, Trump said. Ex-bootlicker, News Nebraska, M-Star, Police Tuck Suck. Welcome in, everybody. So we are in Little Elm, Texas. And I'm sure it's going to make national news. Well, it may make national news, but... Hold on, let me get my tripod set up. Sorry. There we go. Welcome in, everybody. So we're at Little Elm High School in Little Elm, Texas. It's about an hour north of Dallas, Fort Worth. It's a pretty wealthy community. I didn't get a chance to look up the average household income, but it's probably over $200,000 a year up here. So what we have here is Little Elm School District. Little Elm Police responded to a high school walkout with Little Elm SWAT team. And long story short, they ended up tasing a couple kids, from what I understand. I've only seen video of one kid getting tased. I didn't see him actually get tased. I saw him after the tasing. He was passed out. Just laying on the ground at the school. So Little Elm Police Department's response to a high school walkout protest. High school walkout protest with the SWAT team. I guess the story goes that yesterday there was a female student that was sexually assaulted here, and the school's response, which may or may not be correct, but the school's response was to isolate this girl. And fellow students were saying that they didn't, the administration didn't believe her, that she was sexually assaulted. She's saying she was sexually assaulted by another student. The administration's response was to isolate her and put her in not necessarily detention, but it's like in-house suspension, but it's not. But I guess you can basically say it's the same thing. And so when the other students heard the response that the administration didn't believe the student was sexually assaulted, and that they had already done their investigation, and that they were done with it, kids planned today to walk out and protest. So the district, or the administration's response, and the police here, because these are Little Elm Police here in Texas, they have actual police officers like within each city. So like this is the city of Little Elm. So every city will assign police officers to man the schools. And so they have probably two what they call SROs. But they're basically just police officers that are assigned to this high school as their duty. So these officers requested SWAT team to show up for a high school walkout and protest. And I'm sure later on today we're going to see more videos pop out on social media. But we know that the police always escalate stuff. That's the only thing they know how to do. Police very rarely ever de-escalate. So it does not surprise me the response from these morons for a high school walkout would be to bring SWAT team in here and to tase kids and toss kids to the ground and try to arrest them. It's not far-fetched for me. It's totally within the realm of what I've seen all across the country. Yeah, I'll try to get one if somebody offers. How's it going?
It's going. How are you?
Doing good.
Are you a parent or just
a
stringer?
Streamer. Yeah. So I'm gonna walk a little closer up here. It looks like mainstream media is still here, but the incident happened around, I want to say, 10 o'clock this morning. Sorry guys, I'll get to your chat in a minute. But parents have had to wait all day to get their kids out. This is pretty typical, these stickers on these vehicles. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for coming. So this line right here that you see in front of us is a line of parents that are still trying to get their kids out. But if you look it up online on Facebook, that's where I've seen these videos. And like I said, Instagram and Snapchat, I didn't get a chance to go on those yet, or Twitter. But I saw enough to confirm what I heard. And like I said, not that I doubt it, but I would like to. I kind of like to verify a little bit before I just show up. But like I said, it doesn't surprise me. I don't see SWAT team here now. They probably had them leave just so that they don't look quite as foolish. And as you guys can imagine, this is far from a what we would consider a school in a ghetto, right? So I mean, honestly, do you think these kids here at Little Elm High School during a walkout / protest would be that violent in any way, shape, or form that they would need to bring SWAT in? I seriously doubt it. So yeah, if Noli, if you find any news feeds on Facebook, that's where I've seen the videos. You can find a clip. It's there's a little black kid, I want to say, in white pants that the police apparently had tased, and he was passed out on the ground, and they were trying to form a circle around him. And the kids in the hall were yelling at them to get him medical help, and the police officers were just standing there. That's the video I saw on Facebook, and like I said, there's more, and I heard they have some on Instagram, but apparently this happened this morning, and these kids are still these parents are still trying to get their kids out. Somebody go back. Did that bald dude just push that kid? Holy cow. So those of you guys just coming in, Little Elm High School here in Little Elm, Texas. Yesterday there was a high school student, a female student, that said she was sexually assaulted. She reported it to the administration. What depth they did, what investigation they did, I don't know. But apparently their response was to put her in detention yesterday, or something to that effect. And then they told her that basically they were done with their investigation, and that they didn't believe her. When other fellow students found out the school's response. They organized a walkout today, a protest. And of course, here in Little Elm, they can't tolerate anything but subjection, right? So you're going to obey my authority or else type mentality. So when they had to walk out, I guess the administration and the city, the police wanted to come down hard on these kids. And part of the response was bringing in Little Elm SWAT team. So they ended up tasing at least one kid, if not more. But if the allegations are true that this high school student, female student, was sexually assaulted, they were saying that she was sexually assaulted by another student. I'm actually kind of glad to see that so many other kids rallied around her and decided to take action, because sexual abuse and sexual assault should never be acceptable, ever. So if this is the student's response to make sure that they hold that student accountable for his actions, it could be they said it was a male student, but if that's the response to support this female, this young lady, then by all means, kudos to them. And like I said, I haven't seen any videos where these kids that walked out or were protesting were violent. I'm not saying they weren't, but given the neighborhood and the level of income that's in Little Elm, I highly doubt it. Wow, $15 million lawsuit, sweet. What else was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought, sorry. But it's nice out here today in Dallas. It's like 65, sunny. We had a bit of a cold snap last night. We got below freezing. Oh, but the police and the administration here, words are very, language is very telling, right? So Little Elm School District and Little Elm Police Department want to call this a riot. So when you call it a riot, these fucking pigs can do what they do best and escalate and be violent. That's all they know how to do, these fucking pigs. So that's why words are very important. So they're trying to dictate the narrative that this was a riot. And so when you read something like this is a riot, then you're like, oh yeah, they responded correctly with the SWAT team and tasering kids and body slamming kids to the ground. You know, that's the way you handle that. And like I said, I highly, highly doubt the kids here at Little Elm High School were rioting in any way, shape, or form. I'm sure they were probably chanting. I'm sure that maybe they got loud, but I seriously doubt that they were destroying property, burning lockers, burning bathrooms, burning classrooms. You know, I'm sure there wasn't what we would consider in any way, shape, or form a riot. But in order for them to try to justify their bad behavior and their violent behavior, they call it a riot. And then that way, like, oh yeah, it was a riot. Did you hear that there was a riot at the high school and the SWAT team had to show up? So these parents right here, they're still standing in line to check in and get their kids out of school. Apparently this line was backed up over yonder earlier. Took me over an hour to get up here. Ex-bootlicker says justifies more funding. Tracy Ripto says what's going on. So a high school girl was sexually assaulted yesterday. She reported it. From what the kids are saying, the admin said that they didn't believe her and then their response was to isolate her. Did they? You want to do an interview? Yeah, come here. You got to talk loud. Right here. Yep. All right, come a little closer. Right there. All right, go ahead.
It was going crazy. Like, it was like 10:30. Some girl said she got raped. So like.
All right, give me 1 second. Can you guys hear him from there? Give me one if you can hear his voice. All right, that's it. Yeah, go ahead. Talk just a little bit louder though.
So it was like 10:30. A girl said she had got raped. So we was all like trying to protest it. It was knocking on the door saying, like, we just wanted, yeah, no means no, cause like the girl said she got raped. So like we was trying to like do something good, and like they brought the cops in there. My friend got slammed on the ground, and then my other friend, as they had him in handcuffs, so going to the front, homie got tased and pepper sprayed.
Was he wearing white pants?
White jacket, white
Yeah,
jacket.
white. Okay.
White jacket.
Yes, I saw that video.
Yeah, you gotta, it was going
So
crazy.
they tased him? Was he violent at all? Was he being violent?
Whoa.
The cop pushed him.
Pushed him and pepper sprayed him.
The dude was like this, and then they had shot him with the taser gun.
So they pushed the kid, pepper sprayed him, and then tased him.
Yeah.
And then they started dragging him.
Yeah, they started
Did they beat him?
No,
they
we
didn't beat him.
that,
But whenever the homie got slammed up there, they had his face in the ground like that. They got videos of that. Right.
Did they bring SWAT team out?
They had like this. What was that? They had like a.
Okay.
They had like police.
Did the police de-escalate or escalate things? What do you think?
I think they escalated it,
So-
definitely.
So eyewitnesses here at the high school, pigs doing what they do best. They can't be calm and reasonable and rational. They always got to escalate shit.
Bro,
God.
I almost got tased.
He got pepper sprayed.
I got pepper spray, bro.
Was it hard to breathe?
Yeah, bro, you couldn't breathe in there. So many people running around too. So it was crazy. Like, it was crazy. Like, you was in fear for your life. Like, I swear, it was like the Travis Scott concert. You'd be scared.
The kid that got tased, you know if he's okay?
Oh yeah.
He had like passed out. Like, he
He's
was
good.
just
He's
standing
up
there
and
like that.
He's up and walking. There's a
He's
video
good?
of him up and walking.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
The girl, she's not.
He wasn't.
Girl, Casey.
Yeah, Casey's.
Yeah, Casey. Like,
She's cardiac arrest. That's what they're all saying.
Oh wow. And she was pepper sprayed or
She was
tasered?
tased.
So, as you guys know, taser is a lethal weapon, and should be a last resort next to a firearm.
Especially when we're high school.
Yeah, just high school kids. Let me ask you guys this: during the walkout or protest, was anybody violent? Because mainstream media, the police, and the school district are trying to label it as a riot.
Hell.
Yeah, all over the media, they're trying to label.
Nobody.
No one. No,
They were screaming. They were just screaming.
Yeah,
Here,
no
talk
means
closer,
no.
even if you don't want to be on camera. Come close.
They were just screaming freedom and all this stuff. They're just screaming no means no, and that's all they were doing.
That's
Nobody
it,
hit
'cause
nobody.
A girl got like touched when she didn't want to.
So the high school kids here are saying that the protest was not violent in any way, shape, or form, and police came in and escalated it. So, okay.
Where'd you come from? Oh God, I walked back up here.
Now we can go check the door right there.
Dude, I ran like as soon as the dude got tased, I was out the school,
Yeah,
bro.
I
They started
ran,
bringing
bro.
rubber bullets in and
Oh yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Bro, I was gone. I dipped out the back.
You got pepper sprayed.
And that's so I'm glad you guys are safe.
Yeah. How much more you think? Jacksonville Library still?
Well, there you guys have it. Some eyewitnesses that witnessed the whole thing, giving us first-hand response.
Meet me at my car.
My mom came and got me, but then Jackson told me to come back up here.
Now, if this was a Title I high school in Dallas or Garland or South Fort Worth, maybe you would believe that there could have been some couple rowdy kids. Much like in any big group, you're going to get a handful that might be to the extreme, that might start fires in a few lockers or start a garbage can on fire, or maybe break a few things. But like I said, my intuition is here. All the kids and families that go to Little Elm High School, you're not going to see that kind of behavior. And what that kid said is definitely more of what I would expect from this high school and this part of the city. I called a certain somebody, Blue Ivy, to see if they wanted to come up here with me. But I understand people have lives. All right, guys, let me see what you're saying in the chat. Honorary Pleb says, wish this clip could go viral. Goddamn pork pigs are horrible. Blue Ivy Bank says, the administration building is right down from my house. Open war on the school. Yeah, I can see the police's response more so than the school district's response to be violent. Like, I don't necessarily believe that any directives came down from the administrators, the principal, or the district here. It could have been, but I could definitely see the directives coming down from the police to do what they do best and get violent and go hands-on and pepper spray and taser people, bring in rubber bullets, bring in SWAT. And those kids were probably locked in the school, so they probably can't verify that SWAT was here. But I had other people tell me that SWAT was here, so I would tend to believe them. But we're in Little Elm High School, Little Elm, Texas today. There was a walkout. There was a protest and a walkout earlier. A bunch of kids supporting another young lady that said she was sexually assaulted yesterday. Hello, Mrs. B. Eric Johnson. So, 6th Estate. There was a high school female student yesterday that said she was sexually assaulted by another male student here. She went and told the administrators. From what the kids are saying, they didn't believe her story, and then they chose to isolate her. And later, I guess last night, when other kids heard that the administrators didn't believe that she was sexually assaulted, their response was to organize a walkout protest. And so this morning, they decided to do a walkout / protest. I just interviewed a couple kids. They said nobody was getting violent, nobody was burning things. Nothing that would indicate that there was a riot. I'm not sure if it was the administrators, but the school police, which is Little Elm, they're Little Elm police officers that are assigned to this high school. Little Elm police responded with more police officers and violence. They said SWAT team was out here earlier, which I would totally believe. Mainstream media and the police are trying to label this as a riot, which they typically, fake news is fake news, whatever. And they came here and pepper sprayed and tased the kids. So it sounded like more than one kid got tased. I saw a video where one kid was tased and apparently passed out on the ground. We'll probably see more videos later today as kids start getting home and popping up on mainstream media, or popping up on their Instagrams and Snapchats and Twitter and Facebook or whatever. So that's what happened here in this little town of Little Elm. Little Elm is like a very, very, very wealthy city. I didn't look up the average income per household, but I'm sure it's way up there. I'm sure it's up to close to $200,000 a year. But they're labeling it as a riot and lying so they can try to justify their violence. Yeah, the Little Elm Police Department are labeling this incident as a riot. So when other people hear that there was a riot at the high school and they responded with SWAT and pepper spray and rubber bullets and tasing kids, then it's justifiable, because that's how That's how you would respond to somebody who's rioting at a high school that's destroying and burning property. But if we were to believe these students that were here that were eyewitnesses to the account, they said nobody was being violent, nobody was destroying public property, nobody was burning anything, and the police responded with violence, as they always do. So, those are your boys in blue. World Citizens News Watch says he's 30 minutes from Little Elm. I don't think there's much going on up here. The police officers that are left up here are just probably up here for public safety, as you will, and probably filling out police reports. So much like they do to some of these activists. They said this pig put his hands on the kid that got tased that I saw the video on, and then escalated things by pepper spraying him, and then that wasn't enough. They went ahead and tased him. So that kid got a first-hand experience with how police typically respond in a situation. And then I'm sure they're going to try to charge that kid, much like they do any of us, right? They'll probably everything they did, they're going to try to say that kid did to the police officer. So that guy's having a bad day. But hopefully other kids have video evidence showing otherwise. And if we had a justice system, then that police officer would be charged with the charges that he should be charged with, like endangering child endangerment, inciting a riot. Because what happens, he incited a riot. You start pushing kids, you pepper spray kids, you start tasing people, you're going to incite a riot. So inciting a riot, assault and battery, whatever other rules and laws that these people decide that are justifiable. If I see a police officer, ask him if the public information officer's on site. Hello, Christopher. Yes, one of the kids giving an interview said that one of the girls that was tased went into cardiac arrest. So hopefully she'll be okay. So that small group up there, I believe, are the rest of the parents still trying to get their kids out. Oh, no, you're good. You want some help? You good? You want some help?
No.
Okay. So, it probably hasn't gone national yet, but if I get a chance, I'm going to try to track down this guy. There's a black gentleman the other day that was filming a traffic stop here in Little Elm. And he was behind the police unit. You know how they have someone pulled over? He was behind the police unit about 10, 15 feet. So the average police unit, I think the average car is like 18 feet long or 17 feet long. So let's just say that it was 17 feet long. There's another 3 or 4, maybe 5 feet between him and the vehicle that they had stopped. So that's 22 feet. And then he was a good 10, 15 feet behind that. So he's a good 32 to 40 feet behind the the back of the car, not even where the people were, but the back of the car. So he's nowhere near this incident. And this guy that I guess lives in the neighborhood was just out filming the traffic stop. And Little Elm, long story short, couldn't handle that. And they ended up arresting the guy, saying, "Well, guess what the charges were?" They arrested him for impeding an investigation, right? But state law says that to impede the investigation, you physically have to prevent them from doing their job. So if he's a good 32 to 40 feet behind the traffic stop, there's no way that he could be impeding the investigation. And they ended up manhandling the guy. I don't think they ever tased him, but they roughed him up. They tried to choke him out. They wanted to try to teach this guy a lesson for filming them, but we'll see how it ends, because apparently this guy works for the NAACP, so it's kind of ironic. Hopefully he sees the hell out of them. All right, thanks, safety man. I appreciate it. Yeah, so Little Elm Police Department, they've got all these, so many issues with policing in America today. Police, modern day American police, are everything that is absolutely wrong with our country today. Every single thing that they do and are about in their image is everything that's wrong with our society. No longer do they protect and serve. Actually, I take that back. They do protect and serve. They protect and serve their own. They protect and serve the 1%. They protect and serve the cabal, the secret combinations in our society. Those are the ones they protect and serve. Common people like you and me, they do not protect and serve. And then oftentimes they try to dominate and enslave. So that's it. And we continue to see. I think we're seeing it more because more people have cell phones, and social media is a very powerful tool nowadays. Yeah, you're right. It's not just the police. It's the whole entire system. Looks like they just released a bunch of other kids. School must be out. What time is it? So it looks like school's getting out. We'll see if we can get any other interviews. Okay. right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and walk out here to the sidewalk. So the kids were saying the police pepper sprayed the kids. In all honesty, it was probably an SRO, a Little Elm police officer that had no business being in high school. There are some SROs that are really good with kids and that are a really good fit for high schools. And then there's a lot more SROs and police officers that should definitely not be in high schools working with kids. It could be a recipe for really bad things to happen. These kids that were tased, I guess they'll be lucky if they walk away with their lives. Sounded like one girl went into cardiac arrest after getting tased or pepper sprayed. We'll have to wait and find the video on that. But thank goodness for modern technology, because now I'm sure we'll have in the next day or two, we'll have a lot of videos popping up showing everything that happened. Because before, we could only rely on what the police report said. But now, the people are able to verify and document what actually happens, not the narrative that mainstream media, the school district, and Little Elm Police Department want to narrate. Graham's Best says most of the SROs should not be around school children. That's right. I would tend to agree with that. I didn't even ask, but how's my live feed? How's the stream coming in? So I'm not even sure. It kind of resets when I get out here. I have Verizon on one phone and AT&T on the other. And AT&T just completely dropped in one area on my way out. All right, good. I forgot to hit static record on my my other phone because I got my tripod. So I got two phones hooked up, one to static record and one to live stream from. And during that interview, I forgot to start up my other video. So yeah, it looks like the whole school's getting out right now. A lot of kids.
Are you with like the news or something?
Did you guys witness what happened?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
You want to do an interview?
Sure.
All right.
We'll go first.
Let me get my phone started. Hold on. Give me a second, guys. We got an interview coming up.
Yeah, what's it called? All that happened was the girl, what's it called, yesterday, guy went to the officers for like a month, and they didn't do anything but their ISS and stuff. And everybody talked about since yesterday.
All right, I'm ready. If you guys want to stand in, then right there's good. Come a little closer.
Right here?
Yeah, and then go ahead and talk loud.
You want to go first? Alright, so basically what happened today was ever since yesterday, everybody was talking about a girl that went up to the officers and Dr. Pretty, the principal, which they didn't do anything because she went up to them saying that she was being touched on the bus from a freshman, even though she's a sophomore. It was happening for like a month. And they didn't do anything. They put her in ISS for it, and the other kid, nothing happened to him, and he went on with his day. So ever since yesterday, they all started talking about, oh, we're gonna start protesting at 10:20. Everybody was posting it, and after all, we've all like talked about doing this multiple times. Multiple people have, but it's never gone like this intense and stuff. And people just started crowding with Dr. Pretty and Mr. Muhammad's office. And what else happened? After that, police showed up and they started being violent because the kids were not being treated, and they didn't want to be treated how they were being treated.
When the police showed up during the walkout or protest, were any students being violent to each other or destroying public property or burning lockers or anything of that sort?
No, they weren't burning lockers or anything like that, but I would say once the cops and the police showed up, it definitely escorted things. Cause
Did the police escalate everything?
yeah, in my opinion, because it was a peaceful protest at first, you know, just like chanting. I mean, that's always how it's gonna be. But then when the cops showed up, there was a bunch of pushing, people getting tased and beat with batons, so stuff like that.
The police initiated the violence to start pushing and pepper spraying people?
Yes,
It started, one of my close friends, he was trying to defend his friend from being like hurt and stuff and not taken to jail, and they pushed him against the wall and then tackled him on the ground and put him in cuffs. And while he was being walked out, the whole crowd of the protesting people, it started, one kid tried to help him from not being arrested because he didn't do anything other than try to protect his friends, and he got pushed and pepper sprayed, and then he was trying to cover his face, not get pepper sprayed. They pushed him back and they tased him with 2 tasers. He was on the ground. They just dragged him into a corner with the other kid that was getting arrested in cuffs, and they slammed the girl on the ground for trying to help out as well. And there was pictures and evidence of all that. And there was another girl, I don't know exactly what happened to her, but she was on the ground in a picture and she was just not responsible.
I apologize. Can we start over?
Start over?
Yeah, I forgot to hit record on this bottom one. And my feed on this one is going to be so much, it's like 4K. And this one's being live streamed, so the video quality is going to be way better.
Okay.
My apologies.
You're good.
All right, good. If you don't mind, start from the beginning.
Begin? Want to start? Alright.
Just go save.
Alright, so what happened was, ever since yesterday, a girl was calling up to the police and everything.
Talk a little louder.
She was getting harassed and stuff by a guy on a bus, and the police and
She was a sophomore, and the male kid was a freshman? Okay.
Yes, sir. And the school didn't really care because they put her in ISS, and they followed up with him having nothing wrong with him, and he went with his day on while she was in ISS, and everybody was mad and not like valid with the choices that they put out there.
And this male kid was sexually assaulting her for weeks before this?
For about a month.
Okay.
Yeah. And she didn't want to say anything because she didn't want it to lead to this, but she couldn't take it no more. And they didn't do anything. And then ever since yesterday, they started talking about we're gonna peaceful protest at 10:20 in 4th period. And it was a peaceful protest. They were screaming. like no means no. They were trying to talk to Dr. Pretty and Mr. Muhammad.
The kids were in the hallway
Yes, sir.
during this protest. Is that
They
where
were
it
crowded
took
the
place?
hallway.
Okay.
And they called the police showed up, and that's when things started to escalate. When people started getting violent, people were trying to protect their friends from getting arrested and hurt from the cops. And the cops, like, they followed up with that. And
So prior to when the cops showed up, none of the kids were rioting or looting or burning anything or destroying public property.
Yeah, so in my opinion, what I think happened, or what I know happened from what I saw, is, you know, the kids, they were just doing a peaceful protest like he was saying, chanting and all that. But when the cops started showing up, I would say that they're doing their job, but at the same time, things escalated when they showed up, because they started, I mean, they were pepper spraying people. I mean, I guess that's their job, but maybe they were doing it like, they're like doing too much. Like maybe they couldn't have pepper sprayed people because that was doing too much, but yeah.
And then they weren't burning lockers or destroying property like that.
So there was no need to justify escalating the situation. They could have de-escalated everything.
The most they did that I heard around, I didn't witness it with my own eyes, but I heard that they were trying to like open the door, not break it down, but like open it to try to talk to the principal. And she was just not responding at all in any way. They didn't cause any harm to the school.
So this walkout and rally was to support the young girl that was sexually assaulted.
Yes, sir.
To make sure that her voice got
What we're trying
heard.
to get out there is that no means no, and for everybody to pay attention to the real cause in our school, because they focus on little things, like for example, a kid fights, they send them to ISS and OSS or whatever, and compared to this, they just don't care, which shows a lot about the school and the staff.
Is this trend common? Is this the only incident that you guys know of here?
This is the only incident that I know of
Okay.
personally. I honestly don't know about any others, but out of the first year that I'm here, this is probably the worst out of all my friends that I've told about it, and they've said this is the worst that's ever happened probably at Little Elm High School.
Yeah, but for me, this is not the first time I've heard about it. There's other people where one of my friends, I'm not gonna say her name, just because maybe she doesn't want her story to be told, but you know, she basically the same thing happened. She told the principal, and I mean, nothing happened about it. They didn't take further steps or anything. They thought that she was lying about it. And then one of her dad's coworkers, the same thing happened to her. And that was like years ago. So maybe like 10 years ago. So this is an ongoing thing. I don't know.
Yeah, and I feel like it's everywhere around the world that it happens.
When the kids were getting tased and pepper sprayed, no, kids were still being nonviolent at that time, right? When the police started pepper spraying the kids?
The kids were trying to be as nonviolent as they could. They didn't start escalating it until the police made them like leave them with no choice, because they were spraying pepper spray at everybody, shooting rubber bullets.
Oh, they shot rubber bullets in the school?
Yeah, because one of my friends, not gonna say any names, but she had to go to the hospital, and she actually went to the police station because she got caught in the crossfire and she was innocent. She didn't touch or do nothing wrong, and she had to go to the hospital and end up getting hurt from that, barely being able to breathe.
Somebody told me that one of the girls went into cardiac arrest. Can you confirm that?
Yes, sir. That is what happened whenever the girl was on the ground. She was non-responsive.
Did she go into cardiac? Was she tased and then went into cardiac arrest? Do you know?
I'm pretty sure she was dropped on her head, but I didn't see that personally. What I heard was she was dropped and possibly tased. Yeah.
So a police officer grabbed her, body slammed her to the ground.
That wasn't the only girl. There was another girl that there's video evidence that she got slammed on the ground, and then they proceeded to take her out with the handcuffs on. So.
Okay. Sweet. We got 44 people watching.
How many?
44.
Yes, sir.
YouTube.
What's the channel called?
David.
Just David?
Yeah, David Bourne.
Here. Just type it in. Alright, thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
Oh, let me ask you one more question.
SROs that work here, do you think they're a good fit for the high school? Some SROs really cool, and other SROs are
I feel like most of them, they do their job. Some of them overabuse their job to where they feel like they have all the power in the world. But most of them are good at their job, and I respect that.
Little help. It's like
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure there's two, but I mean, one of them, he's like super nice. He has relationships with a bunch of kids I know. Talks to kids, friendlies with them, so yes.
Yeah, other officers
Yeah,
that
so-
we've probably never seen before.
yeah, 'cause this is a trend we're seeing nationally. They do the same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
We started shooting.
yeah, no reason for it.
They know what they're doing.
yeah, the school officers.
They're being trained, told.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, if everything just kept happening and all those officers, 'cause I think there was like 5, 10 police cars out here. I wasn't out here, so I didn't see, but
And there's a number of ways they can handle it. They can just say, hey, just march with you.
Yeah.
And let you guys do a little couple chants.
yeah, and then
Do a voice, maybe set up a mic and y'all talk for a few minutes. For the period's lost anyway, right?
yeah,
Let y'all do your thing and then say, okay, now.
yeah. Not everything I stated in violence. Maybe
Well, I mean, there's other ways to handle it. They didn't need to handle it the way it is. So the mainstream media and the police are trying to work this.
I mean, it was only starting to line with the content. in my opinion.
So, and I'm saying that because they're trying to justify their behavior.
Yeah.
You call it a riot, and you say, oh, a girl got tasered or body shot. Then when someone sees it, sees the video, they think, oh, that's rational. That's an appropriate response.
Yeah, but
It's not. It's fake news. It's mainstream media. Police trying to do it.
Yeah, and I saw that on the news they had posted it was going back to a normal day and no one is tased, which I was in my Spanish class for 5 hours. So it was not a normal day, and people were getting
They
tased.
kept you in the second period or third period all day.
It was fourth period.
Fourth period.
all right.
All right, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
So there you guys have it. We have a little better understanding of what happened. The name of this school is Little Elm High School, and Little Elm, Texas. We are at 1900 Walker Lane in Little Elm, Texas. (1900 Walker Lane, Little Elm, Texas). So my my initial what I thought these kids are confirming, the kids that were walking out and protesting were not being violent, were not destroying public property, were not burning garbage cans or lockers, and Little Elm police came in and decided to escalate the situation and use rubber bullets and pepper spray. And the police are actually the ones that initiated the violence. The police are the ones that initiated the riot, if there was one. I'm not sure about you guys, but the proper response when some violent thug starts shooting me with pepper bullets and pepper spray would be to maybe get rowdy and maybe try to defend myself. That would be my natural response when some thug does that to me. So if there was a riot after the police initiated the violence, that would be a proper response. So I guess in that sense, but even though it sounds like they don't even meet the terms of riot or rioting, so that's not even the correct language for that. That would just be a proper response to some violent thug getting violent with you, trying to protect yourself. So this is in Little Elm, Texas. This is Little Elm High School. So the average household income for Little Elm, Texas is just under 100,000, 98,000 per household in this city. So by any means, this is not a Title I school. This is not a school that you would consider to be in the ghetto. You know, the behavior that the media, mainstream fake news media, and the Little Elm Police Department want to push out that this was a riot, does not fit the narrative at all. So I just wanted to come out and confirm it. As you see, we had a couple eyewitnesses to confirm what I thought. So there you have it. Yeah, the administration, you know, when it gets elevated like this, the administration could have come out with another statement saying, okay, we're going to reinvestigate these allegations, hold tight, you know, we'll maybe do some more in-depth research. And from what it sounds like, the sophomore, the girl, was being sexually assaulted on the bus for at least the past month or two. And so there are plenty of eyewitnesses that could confirm exactly what this girl is saying, right? Because the guy that was sexually assaulting her probably has buddies that will back his story, whatever his story would be. But if she was being sexually assaulted on the bus, you know there had to have been other eyewitnesses. And if it's been going on for a month or two, we know for a fact that there are other eyewitnesses. So, you know, the proper response is to not believe her, or to say, oh, he's just grabbing her butt. That's not acceptable. No means no. You know, if a woman or anybody doesn't want you to touch them, then the only response is to not touch them. And if you touch them, it's either assault and battery or it's sexual assault. So kudos for the kids at Little Elm High School for standing up for this girl, because I would tend to believe her. I don't know her. I didn't see the report, but based on what these kids have said, I would tend to believe her. You know, it's not one of these questionable situations of sexual assault. It sounds like it's pretty straight up, plain and forward. If you touch a girl or a woman or anybody and they say they don't want you touching them, especially in a sexual manner, then for sure no means no. You know, that's it. Don't do it again. Yeah, you pull everybody in off the bus. And I'm not sure if this school district has it, but there's a lot of school districts that have cameras on the buses now. So, but regardless, you know, like I said, there's other kids that probably witness this firsthand. Multiple kids, especially if it's happening all the time on the bus. But all right, guys, it looks like that's it. If there were any other individuals that wanted to give a statement or a report, they probably would have done so. And it looks like everybody's left. So I appreciate you checking in. And we'll probably look forward to other videos coming out and on social media of this incident. Hopefully you all had a good work week. Friday has come upon us. And for many of you, Friday has already started, the weekend. So congrats. Be blessed. Have a great day, everybody. Stay safe. Go be productive. And I love and appreciate you all. Thank you. I'll go back and read the chats later. Thanks, guys.